This next story includes a spoiler. Trekkies be warned. The second part of Season 1 of Star Trek Discovery returned to CBS All Access Sunday night with a bombshell. Medical officer Hugh Culber, played by actor Wilson Cruz, was killed in the new episode. Culber is part of the first openly gay couple in the Star Trek franchise, along with Lieutenant Paul Stamets, played by Anthony Rapp. Our Vladimir Duthiers spoke to Cruz, along with showrunners Harberts and Gretchen Berg, about the episode's impact.
This is a momentous episode. Let's talk about the reasons why you've decided to do what you've decided to do with Wilson's character.
Oh, well, he's right here. He is right here. Because Wilson is part of one of the most epic love story we have going on Star Trek Discovery, quite frankly. And so with big love comes big moves.
Yeah, I mean, the intention was that this was actually to be the first chapter in their story. I mean, we introduced the characters, you know, we introduced them first as individuals and very competent individuals, and we led with their competency rather than their sexuality. And I think, you know, we thought it was going to take a little while for the audience to bond with the characters, to sort of get to know them, but the intention was always to really put this relationship through its paces in the back half of the season. We didn't realize how this couple was going to resonate with the audience, and they bonded so quickly. You know, had we known this, we may have actually pulled the story up and done it a little faster. But the intention was always to really kind of start their story, you know, with this episode in a lot of ways, with what happens.
Talk to me a little bit about the reaction that you received, you and Anthony, when people became aware that you were a couple on the show. What was the most common thing that you heard from people?
Finally.
Right.
You know, I think that Anthony and I were prepared for excitement on the part of Trek fans. We weren't prepared for what it's turned out to be. I think I can speak for Anthony in this sense. It's been overwhelming for both of us. It's been surreal in a lot of ways, especially to go through this with him specifically, a friend of mine of 20 years. For me personally, I think about a young person who is sitting at home, who's 13 or 14 years old, a person of color, possibly questioning their sexuality, and seeing Dr. Hugh Culber and saying, I'm a part of a future, an ideal future that we can work towards. And we're planting seeds in the minds of young people to say, your possibilities are limitless. And that's who Dr. Hugh Culber represents, and I think that's who Paul represents. And I think that's what we're trying to do with the show.
So my intention after the episode airs is to go on all the message boards and see all of the fans freaking out. What's your reaction to what the reaction will be?
I don't think we should minimize for the audience their feelings, right? I think we need to give people permission to be sad about this. And we want them to go on this ride, as I say. You know, and part of that ride is tragedy, and then there will be triumph, and then there will be more tragedy. That's life, right? It's a cycle, and this is all part of that. I also, what I really am really proud of is that we learned some big things about Hugh in this episode. We see some of his genius. We see his, you know, his bedside manner, and we see him stand up, you know, to his superiors here. And we see sides of this character that we hadn't seen yet, and really give people a preview of what's to come.